Welcome back to my channel. Now this video is about how we do our corners on timber cladding. It could be any timber cladding. In this case we're using feather edge, which is one of the most popular claddings in the UK, but you could also use it with a tongue and groove board or even a shiplap. So basically this is the corner. We always use a post section. You can't really mite around the corner in any material because as the timber shrinks and moves, those miters are going to open up. It's just going to look untidy and a lot of moisture is going to get in. So we like to use a solid corner. This is oak or green oak. So let me take you round to see some of the other corners. So this is quite interesting, this particular corner here, because the building changes its shape. So we've actually got two different angles here, but I'll still use a square edge corner. And when I finish, as the cladding comes in, you'll still see roughly the same amount of the corner as well, okay? So the post itself is still square, but this side of the board is going to get splay cutted in, and this one is going to be square. Let's go and actually make one so I can show you exactly how we do that. So I'm going to do the corner one there, which is going to mean that we can free up this whole side for cladding. So I'm using a 70mm by 70mm corner, and that works really well. We're using a 25mm counter batten here, and all of the corner counter battens we just basically cut and we pin them on loose, and that's the first job. So don't go nailing all of your corners on. These just literally want to be pinned on loose at this stage, because it's going to help us actually put the cladding up. Let's just stick another pin in there. Okay, now our corners basically sit into these two counter battens. The counter battens are flush with the edges of the bat safe here, or the sheathing underneath, and we're going to take our corner, we're going to take it round that rafter foot that you see at the top. We're going to cut it underneath, so there's a splay cut, and for that, because I've got a lot to do, I've got myself basically a little template here. So if I slide that in here, as it travels up, you can see that it's going to hit the slate undercloak at the top, and it's also going to get splay cut underneath the rafter as well. So we're going to transfer that now, and I've checked that everywhere, so I know that this is good here. So all I've got to do now is transfer that onto the oak. So basically I'm going to pick the side I want to see, and I think that this is actually quite a nice side. So effectively that is going to be what we see here. So by standing in position, I'm not going to catch myself out, because you can really get into trouble here if you mark the wrong piece. So what we're effectively going to do is to take this, and it's going to be cut at the angle of the roof. This is 50 degrees there. We're also going to take it 25mm around that foot and splay cut it underneath for the remainder. So I'll just pop that on the saws. We can do all of this with circular saws. We don't need chop saws out for this sort of job. That's effectively what I'm recreating there. So I can just reference this beam here. I'm cutting it out for 25mm, which is what the rafter foot is. I'm going to put a 50-degree mark on the top of that. Here. That's the first cut. We'll cut that off first. Now, you can cut that freehand like this. And then we'll mark the rest of the joint out. So I know I'm removing this section here, which is basically what laps around that rafter foot at the top. Again, I'll simply rip that down as well. And I want to come down as far as I need to come, which is effectively to here. So how I'll do that is I'll just get my square, transfer this across to there, pop another 50-degree mark on there as well. Let's take that across there. This is what I'm taking out. I can also do that with the circular saw. So for the benefit of this video, I'll probably just use the same saw, but quite often I'll have this saw set up and a smaller saw, so I can just do everything much quicker. So I'm going to rip this down too. To there, and then I'm just going to take this shoulder out as well. So we'll set the depth of the saw to there, and we'll cut that out as well. And there's the piece taken out. So that's effectively the start of the top. Now I'm going to need a measurement. Okay, so it's a little bit more tricky. But what we need to do is, again, using our timber, or what's more appropriate is a spirit level. I'm going to mark a line. Just put this little hop up here. What I want is the line of the building, this corner effectively, and I want to transfer that up here. If we just transfer that, we'll sight that through there. That wants to come up there. This nail's in my way at the minute. Let's take that one out of the way. Make sure that's all in line. Now that effectively gives me my length, or at least the position I need to measure to. Now, the bottom of my post doesn't sit on there, it actually finishes lower. So what I need to do is actually relieve this corner out of the post. We're actually finishing a measurement 63 millimeters from the bottom of this brick. So let's take a measurement from the brick where we're measuring, say a meter. Here we go. I'll measure down from my mark to the meter mark. I'll just run the tape to there. I've got 1160, so altogether that would be 2160. I've got to take 63 mil off of that, which gives me 2097. So 2097 is my overall length. So I'm going to measure that from the point, which is where that line represented, 2097. Here. That's a square cut there. We'll cut that off. Again, circular saw is fine. Mostly everything on site a carpenter can do with a circular saw. That's why they're so popular and versatile. Something I have always used. You could run it against the square as well. I mean, I could do it just freehand, look. Now, just quickly, I'll offer that in to give you an idea of what we're talking about. I've still got to notch the bottom. So that is effectively going to run in there, run up and hit the rafter and the roof. Now, in every instance, we want to make sure that we've got enough taken out. Now, I can take a little bit more out of the cut underneath because the rafters all vary. So my pattern that I made is just somewhere near it, basically. I need to take out another 3 or 4 mil from the shoulder. The overall length is obviously unaffected, but I'll show you what I mean. We need a little bit more off here. We just need that much off of here to make that fit nice and tight up against the slate. Again, I can just do that with the circular saw. And that's it. Now, let's get to the foot, because we need to take, when this goes in, we need to take this corner out here. Again, you've got to be really careful you don't take the wrong corner out. I've done that before. And we are literally taking out this square here. And it's just going to be to relieve the vent detail. It's something like that. And how we measure that, again, we're measuring from here now, from the vent, straight up to the top. $19.80. I'm going to take that down the post. $19.80, so it's not far from where I just roughly marked that in to there. We just got to take that out. Now this is something not seen, so you don't have to go particularly tidily. You can do it in a number of ways. I can just start a cut off here with a circular saw. And then using that cut, I'll use my multi-tool. Take a little notch, take a little notch. Now that's roughly ready to fit. We'll give that a try first. What we call a dry fit. There we go. And you can see if you come round here, how that misses the vent, misses the corner of the brick, and will be covered by the cladding. Now we need to mount the battens on to the post. Now this is the bit that I think is the takeaway from this video, is the fact that the post isn't face fixed. And we're not trying to fix through there against the sheathing. We're going to take the battens off, fix it to this, and put the whole thing back in place. So now I'm happy with the post. Everything's the right length. We're going to fix the battens to the post. Now, I've got to take the battens off and put them on the post, but to do that, I'm just going to put a little reference point here, for example, and I'm going to call this number 1 or something like that. Put a little line here, and I'm going to score a line there and score a line there. And I'll call this one number 2, if you like, on this side, and again, just going to put a little mark there, just here. So now I'm going to take this, put it on the stalls, I'm just going to write 2 and 1 as well. I'm going to put a little arrow on these because I guarantee as soon as you undo them and take them off, you'll say, what was up, what was down? And now I know. So we're just going to pop them back off. Put these nails in for now. Here we go. This is number 1. And we're going to screw these on with a non-corrosive type of screw. So we want number 1 here. Number 1. And there's our mark. And all we're doing is flush with the back. So we're doing flush with the back of the post. Right, I've got some nice screws. So I'm using a screw. Now you need stainless steel or you need a screw which is suitable. This is a suitable screw. It's also called a batten screw. It's got a really strange head on it, but it won't split the batten. So I don't need to pre-pilot this softwood batten. We'll just slide that up there. I just want one in the bottom here, say. Checking that my marks are where they should be. And they really are solid. I want one in the middle, that's all. One in the top. We'll repeat the process obviously for batten number 2. So I'll whip that one off. I know which way up it goes already, I'll have an arrow. There we go. Leave that nail in for a reason. So number 2. There's my little reference mark. We'll screw that on. Now this is important as well. I'm going to screw this near the screw on the other side. Okay, so if this screw's here, I'm going to screw this almost next to it, but not into it, of course. Repeat that process. So there's my other screw. So I'm going to come near it. And lastly at the top, there's my other screw. So the corner post is ready now. And those little nails that we had in are going to come in handy now because I'm going to do a dry fit. I'm going to try it in and just tack it with one of those nails first. That's what it looks like once it's finished. And that's what the bottom looks like. And then when it goes in, it won't hold itself because it's floating above the brickwork. I want to try and get it up like that, and there we have it. So you can see it's cut round the top there. I'll just tack a nail in to hold it, and those nails have gone back into their original hole. So that is the basis of it. Eddie might be able to get in close and have a little look where it's cut round the rafter here, underneath there, up against the undercloak there. And the last thing I'm going to do with my little plane is just take the arises off that bottom corner. So we're just going to take the arises straight off this little corner here. It's literally just to tidy it up, and also we can also soften the edge. Just run the plane up a couple of times, that would do that. Now, fixing it back, the reason why I like my screws close together is we're going to fix it back with the drill with the same screws. We can use these nice solid screws. And the idea of them is they're not countersunk, they're partially countersunk, and what happens is the head will pull the batten. It won't push and split the batten like a countersunk screw. Now if you think behind here I've got 18mm OSB, so I don't want to screw there, I want to screw aiming in through, not the end of the OSB, but back into the stud. So a little bit of angle, so starting at about the thickness of that OSB, 18mm over, near the screw, a bit of angle, pushing it nice and tight into the corner. That is going to clamp it right up, and repeat the process on the other side, near the screw, aiming more for the stud. And you can see how much movement it gives you. So now the key is making sure that you only tighten it to square, meaning that it remains square to the building. And I'll repeat that process up the top. Just under that screw. And that is basically how you fix a post. No fixings on show, nice and solid. And it makes the job, it makes the cladding job, excuse me while I get all my gear off, just makes it really nice. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's how I like to do it, and it's worked well for me over the years. Thanks for joining. Catch you again soon.